In some races, you're just a magnet for other cars to crash into. In this race, it was car number 10 that kept finding me. I've qualified in P3 on the left-hand side here. We have a good start, making our way past pole position sitter, car number 6, the yellow thing here. But I am, as always, too cautious on lap 1 and turn 1, so I'm going fairly slowly into the turn, and I'm on the outside, and car number 10 uses me as a brake. Fortunately, they hit me in the back, and then immediately after that hit me in the front of the car, so we do get straightened out again and can continue going. Nothing spun, nobody's going off track here. That, however, meant that it was a little bit more difficult. The car number 10 does have problems braking in this turn as well, so that should have been a hint for me to figure out how to get around them and stay away from them a little bit better in the future. No big deal though, lesson learned. There's always something to learn. I just wrote it off as lap 1 troubles and just put my head down and kept going. No issue, no harm done necessarily, everything was fine. So, my goal here is to be in the points, and that means finishing P6 or higher. Started in P3, qualified there, that was nice. And now we're going through the back straight here. I did have a compromised exit on that last turn, which means this turn here I'm staying on the left hand side since the other car is coming up on the inside a little bit more, and I did not want to risk them having to overshoot it and taking me out again because they did not brake correctly. But they went through here fine and everything seems to be going well. But I did as a result lose not just 1 position but 2 as the red car sneaks through on the inside as I found myself on the outside of that turn again. Now I'm on the middle of this pack and I do jut to the right. Keeping a tight line, I move over. That might have been my fault, I'm not sure, as I come across, but as I spin, I slam on the brakes, and as there's nobody coming, check the relative, I get back on track. Well, this really puts a damper on my plan to finish in the points. Now I really have to start this recovery drive and make my way back forward. The car that kept bumping into us has a spin in this particular turn here as well, so hopefully that'll allow us to go past them fairly quickly too. We're catching up on them on the straight here. Trying to time my entry into this corner. It seems like it is a constant corner radius for this. I looked at it on a map. So 1 steering input angle should be sufficient, but I need to practice this a bit better. Turn 1, I'm following the car number 10. Going through here, keeping my distance, trying to evaluate where I should be able to should overtake this car in front of me. There's always good spots and there's bad spots to overtake. There are also different spots depending on how the different cars drive. This car in front, I'm trying to study their lines, trying to figure out where they're better than me, where they're having moments perhaps, and where there might be an opportunity for me to overtake them in an easier way than making it more difficult for myself. People overtake into that little turn here coming up. I do poke my nose in, partially because I get scared since they brake a little too early for my liking, and that means I veered off, not sure how far they would brake, how fast they would brake, so that I didn't crash into them myself. Now that also means that since they spun in that corner before, I don't want to go into braking zones and overtake them there, so I'm trying to overtake them on corner exit rather than corner entrance. Here I'm trying to set this up perfectly, and I actually do manage to set this up nicely while the car in front of me went in too soon, overcorrects as they're going into the gravel a little bit, and that allows me to be alongside them, and I could make the move stick. I'm on the inside, yes. We're not out of the danger zone yet as that left-hand turn is coming up, so I'm going to keep it a lot tighter on the radius than I would normally try to do it, just to make sure that I'm on the inside as much as possible. The more on the inside I was there, the safer I felt. Everything works out fine, the car behind is driving well. No issue with any of the driving there, it's all good. And I don't know why this car is going across the track backwards, but they did that, and fortunately we had enough car control to avoid that obstacle as well. Onto the back straight. A little bit of compromise here again. I did not use the entire track width. I didn't go onto the curbs on the outside, but that's okay. Now just trying to put some distance between me and the car behind. Going through the turns, all is well. I can still see the cars up ahead, and that means that I have something to aim for, a target, a goal to go towards. The field is spread out though across the entire track, which is of course an artifact of not being in the top split where everyone is driving roughly at the same abilities, but there is some variability in the skills and the lap times. Anywhere between half a second to 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds maybe difference between some of the drivers here, so the field does spread out, which means I'm going to have a harder time trying to catch up with them. But my goal was to be in the points. That was my only goal, my micro goal here. My bigger goal was to not get crashed into in turn 1. Fortunately, nothing too bad happened, that's good. And other big goals are, of course, always to finish the race. I always want to finish the race, even if I were to have been taken out and had to end up in the pits, I always finish the race, because you never know if other people just drop out and rage quit or just regularly quit. And then you still end up being in the points or at least gaining safety rating just by finishing the race, even if it was a disaster. So always finish races, gives you also more lap time, more practice time. I love just to do that. Car here on the inside has spun out. They do stay off the road, which is awesome, and that allows me to get in another position. Now I'm back in the points and we're good to go. I'm ready to finish this race and have met my goal. Other times I set goals of hitting the same corner consistently, different braking techniques, or using the same braking technique better and better every time. That's also some goals I set sometimes. But here we are, going through it. Again, too tight on the radius on that particular corner. Something I need to work on for sure. And in fact, all the corners here do have the ability to be improved on. You can tell that by my lap time, 104.5. Not ideal, not my best. But even my best would have been improvable. Is that a word? Probably not. But even my best lap times could have been improved on. There we go, left-hand turn into this, let's call it a chicane. Now just gently lifting briefly before the right-hand turn, allowing the car to shift the weight forward and then turning in. And then full throttle. And I'm practicing here, keeping the steering angle the same for those two left-hand turns before going into the right-hand turn. The right-hand turn, I want to be ideally further on the curb and getting on the accelerator faster. 104.67, fair enough. It is what it is. Going all the way out to this left-hand side, not enough, but 104.69. Almost very, very precisely consistent. That's great, at least I'm consistent. Doesn't happen all the time. If I could be this consistent all the time, that'd be great. For now, if I'm sometimes consistent, that's great. The more consistent I can be, the better I can be as well. It's all a work in progress. I only get to do about 2 to 3 races per week if my schedule allows it. Let me know in the comments how many races you get into your schedule every week. I still love it. It's great fun. I enjoy it. Slow progress, it's a slow journey, but it's the reality of the journey for now. It's all part of the documenting of this journey. And now this recovery drive has turned into somewhat of a lonely practice drive. Cars ahead, gone into the distance. Cars behind, no threat to me just yet. So what do I need to do? I need to keep my head down, I need to hit the braking markers correctly, I need to hit my acceleration points correctly. I just need to do things as if this were a practice lap. Hitting my braking points, hitting all the points correctly, being consistent as much as possible. That's the key here. That's key now in order to make the most out of this race. Yes, I've been bumped into quite a bit, but I also think that, and I've said this before, the mark of a good driver is, sure, one aspect of it is not to crash into other cars, but the other aspect is also to not be in places where other cars crash into you. So that second half, I failed at that, and that's something for me to improve and review on whether or not I should have been doing something different. Definitely there were some things that I could have been doing differently, and I will try to do those differently, so I'm not in a position where other people crash into me themselves either. So yeah, I'm not blaming the other car, I'm just figuring out what could I improve to not be in situations like that myself. And that's part of the journey, that's part of the learning curve, trying to get better every single time. Ultimately though, you just gotta put your head down, keep racing, and make the most of it. There we go, 104.68. So we're very much consistent in the 104.6. That's sort of my lap time standard for this, it seems, for this particular race at least. Maybe occasionally I've got into the 104.5s on this particular day when I was racing here. So consistency there is key. Once I figure out where I am losing time in all the corners, figuring out if I know the techniques or if I can acquire and practice the techniques in certain isolated corners to make myself go faster, or combinations of corners rather. And then I watch some track guides, some lap guides as well, and figure out what I'm doing different, trying to apply those things that the faster cars are doing, and then going from there. This lap did feel a little bit slower to me as I'm rewatching this and doing a commentary on it. Well, there you have it. It was about a second slower. This could happen because A, I was relaxing a little bit more, trying not to push as much, or because I was trying to do a different technique for a couple of corners, and it just did not work out. But nevertheless, there's no threat from behind, no issue there, no danger, it's all going well. I think I brake a little too early on this last turn here, on this turn, and that makes it a much steeper angle for entry and exit, which means I'm slowing down. But let's see what the lap time says. Maybe it was not so bad. Alright, this last turn is also not ideal. 105.26, fair enough, and this is going to be the last lap now. The recovery drive was successful. I did manage to meet my goal, or achieve my goal rather, of being in the points. I've also gained a safety rating. I've gained one safety rating, and not one safety rating. I've gained marginal safety rating despite these incidents, and I've gained one iRating point, or two iRating points. I forget which one it was. One or two iRating points were gained in this race. So I've achieved my goal of being in the points. That was all that I wanted. Every small progress is still progress. Things to do better for next time. A, learn how to do all these turns better and figure out which one of them I can actually do better in. Second, not be in a position where other cars crash into me. Just track position in these particular corners, especially on lap 1. Other than that, I've had fun. Everyone is fine. Seems good. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and see you around next time. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.